Hello everyone, I'm Ricky the Uchiha.
And I'm SK Mix, and we are the
Infinite Crossover.
Today we're going to be talking about Superman 2025.
Directed by James Gunn.
With an amazing ensemble of actors. First off, we have David Corenswet as Superman. A really amazing performance. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, he hit it. He hit it.
Yeah, I feel like his performance really made me appreciate Superman. I know Superman was amazing, but like this storyline, awesome.
He gave a more modernized version of Superman.
Mm-hmm. We had Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Again, another
great actress.
Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. So
great actor.
That guy. Oh my gosh. Lex Luthor. The Establishment. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern. Yeah, with his dorky haircut. You know.
Yeah. It was good.
Isabella Merced as Hot Girl. Again.
Another great actress with a good role.
Supporting ensemble. Maria Gabriela de Faria. She played the engineer.
I was really impressed with her because back in the day she was part of Nickelodeon Latin America, and she used to appear on shows. And to see her being in this mainstream role is really touching to see how far she went.
Sara Sampaio, who plays Eve, Lex Luthor's girlfriend.
Yeah.
The time, very interesting role. There's nuances to be discussed about their relationship. Skylar Gisondo, Jimmy Olsen.
Another great casting, and it's very funny. I laughed most of his scenes.
One of my favorite roles, Anthony Carrigan, who played Metamorpho. One of my favorite superheroes from the DC universe, but just the fact to see him live action and they lived up. Really loved that. Michaela Hoover as Cat Grant. Oh my gosh, Miss Grant, bro, amazing performance. You know,
sexy.
Chef's kiss. You know, I gotta hand it to James Gunn. He really got all the good angles. Whenever she popped out,
he did a good scouting with the cast, even though some of them are not well known.
Like Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, which gotta say, I loved it, dude. Mr. Terrific in this movie was really cool. Him just kicking ass, bro, into the soundtrack. Pruitt Taylor as Jonathan Kent. This is, the Kents. Also gotta give it up to Neva Howell as Martha Kent. You know, both lovely performances. I really appreciate the part that they had to play telling the story, Superman story, an immigrant American story, right? Then we have Wendell Pierce as Perry White, head editor of the Daily Bugle, the Daily Planet.
The Daily Planet.
It's me getting my Marvel and DC mixed up.
I think that's it.
It's pretty much the main cast. Yeah. Main thoughts about the movie?
I think it was an excellent movie.
Yes.
I think it I don't know if it was a coincidence that the movie came out or around this time. It touched on really sensitive topics like war, immigration, discrimination, human trafficking, and I felt that it humanized Superman really well.
This movie was very on the nose on the political comments it had to take about American society or society worldwide. It touches on the evils that corporate capitalism has with the decision-making power it has around the world, and how corporations can sway politics, and then just humanizing immigrants. Like, we have Superman, classic story of an immigrant coming from foreign land to America and working hard to create
peace,
create a better society than from where he came from. So interesting, that Superman is a reporter, and then we have Lex Luthor as like a private corporation trying to persuade the public opinion into his favor. you know, you can define this Superman 2025 as a woke movie, especially because of its fair share of controversies that came around before it even came out.
Like some of the controversies that came out is because it was a whole bunch of Zack Snyder fans who were afraid that their universe didn't get completed in the end, and some of the controversies when they were filming about the picture showing up and how Superman wasn't shown up to be buff. Many fans critiqued him because their identity of Superman is political American hero who's buff and is not sensitive towards everything. And I really love how this Superman is very humanized.
Mm-hmm.
He has feeling and he has weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and he's showing that, like, even though he has a lot of weakness, he wants to fight for the people.
Mm-hmm.
and people are also willing to help him out.
Mm-hmm. And because of that woke storyline that this movie offered to audiences, it also gained controversy within conservative media outlets like Fox News, calling out Superman 2025 as too woke and like who is this beta loser Superman. I thought that this movie was a very neat commentary on a lot of American values that people are questioning in these days, especially with the topic of masculinity and what it means to be a man. Because we have Superman, you know, who we know is the biggest giga alpha chad in the world, you know, strongest person, but he's so humble, you know, he's so emotional, and he's not afraid to let down his guard, especially like around his girlfriend,
Yeah.
you know, or other people.
One of my biggest fears going into this movie was that because of all the sensitivity that's going around the world, I thought that Superman is gonna be that America is gonna be the hero, and Superman is gonna be the hero of the world and protecting the peace of others. But no, he's doing everything to save the world, not just for America but the world itself.
Mm-hmm. This movie does touch on like the military industrial complex, you know, the power that private corporations have in swaying the American government to do what they want to do. For example, the spoilers, but we all know that Lex Luthor is a slimy guy who really uses his money to buy politicians to do what he wants. And it's no surprise that you see him manipulating geopolitics to make himself richer and more powerful in the process, in the guise of, oh, we have to arm ourselves and get ready and defend ourselves against this illegal immigrant Superman who's coming to terrorize us all, you know? It's all a facade! I really have to give it up to Nicholas Hoult and his performance as Lex Luthor because, you know, he really truly is despicable, bro. Just from the moment that he pops out. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I remember watching Batman vs. Superman, and that performance of Lex Luthor, I was like, why the heck is Lex Luthor this, like, loser nerdy guy, right?
Yeah.
In this movie, Lex Luthor is another nerdy guy, but he's not, like, macho, right? He's just a skinny, bald guy who's power tripping at the fact that, you know, Superman is much more well known than him, regardless of the legacy that Lex Luthor tries to build for himself in history. He is always going to be overshadowed by Superman, and just because of that, he goes through like this psyop propaganda campaign to smear Superman's image, to build fear that Superman is going to, you know,
destroy the whole world.
Yeah.
And he was sent to destroy the world the moment he stepped on Earth.
Which, you know, we as the audience know that's not true, but just watching.
But it's very relatable because in real life that's how information and journalism gets manipulated. A lot of people, many people thought that Superman was going to destroy the whole world. Many people believe that stuff if you manipulate the news.
Yeah, this movie is so relevant today because, the current Trump administration recently passed their big, beautiful bill, right? Getting more financial backing to support its military-industrial complex within its own borders to attack, marginalized communities, immigrant communities that are living here, of people who come to America to work, to gain financial stability, to support themselves and their families. But with the power of social media and propaganda to demonize these communities and these people, to you can just see what's Lex Luthor's was it Planet Watch? His secret police, or his police to keep the world safe from metahumans like Superman.
The pocket the
No, not the pocket dimension, but the police, the Raptors.
Yeah.
He goes to spoilers, right? But he's just creating reasons to go to the military and be like, hey, Superman is a threat. Look at all this that I'm building, give me money, and I'll sell you weapons to protect you from this threat of Superman.
What was the name of the country that was portrayed to be the enemy?
Bavaria?
Bavaria?
Something like that.
He was gonna conquer it and call it Lutherland.
It was interesting, that's another parallel within the movie and society at large, because you have powers like AIPAC trying to sway American politics in their favor so that they can get away with displacing and committing genocide. And you just have that comparison with Bavaria and Israel, and I forgot the name of the other country, but that in Palestine, there's a really good comparison.
Yeah, he supposedly Luther supposedly despises of Superman, and he hates everything about him, but he wants to become like him.
Yeah.
He built his soldiers just like him.
Mm-hmm. Spoilers, right? Well, cut that out. We don't want to deep dive too much, but there's just so much to be said about the political commentary that this movie has. Even we can continue with ICE and the private prison, or human trafficking, Lex Luthor wanting to portray himself as the savior of humanity, has his hand in doing all these nefarious things. It's so disgusting. It's so vile and revolting that it just really, really built this I was mad, dude. Throughout the movie, I'm like, Lex Luthor, and then when it just got down to the climax of Superman versus Lex Luthor, I was really yeah, Superman. You have to watch the movie. I don't want to, say too much, but it's just so satisfying to see Lex Luthor shit the bed and sleep in it.
This version of Superman is one of the best versions of Superman behind the Christopher Reeves franchise. I really like the Henry Cavill Superman, but my problem with that movie is that it was super slow, and the reason why it's super slow is because they had a lot of flashbacks about how he came to Earth, how he got established in school, how he discovered that he was Superman. But I really liked how they didn't show us. They just told us how he came, and it was already developed. He was already Superman in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed Man of Steel. I only seen it once, and that was in theaters. And I really appreciated the cinematography and the effects that were in that movie. I really thought that they can actually make a true adaptation of a live action Dragon Ball Z just with the action from Man of Steel. And I hear what you're saying about this move. That between that movie and this movie, being slow and like the way the storytelling is involved. Because I remember in the theater you were mentioning that that you thought that they were introducing too many characters.
Yeah, for a first movie of a standalone superhero like Superman, yeah, they were too many characters. Yeah, like Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and who was it, Mr. Terrific, like those were like secondary characters that would be introducive, like the universe would be much more expanded. But right now the James Gunn universe of DC is barely expanded. So I thought that like we saw too much for a first standalone movie of a DC.
See, my thing about that is that we like the DC universe has been established since way back in the past, right? So these are characters that are already well known by average consumers of DC. So it's like I thought it was cool on how they introduced their version of what the Justice League would be. I thought it didn't take me out of the film, or it didn't really bother me that these characters were introduced. They've already, like you said, like they told us the story, and like it's just established that these characters have relationships. That they already have history together. Even if it's not like, can I fully trust you, Superman? Like, are you really gonna mate with everybody around the world and conquer it and create a bunch of like alien human hybrids? I enjoyed it, and for what it is to set up and establish the James Gunn's universe, it was really cool.
Really glad that the James Gunn universe started off in a good note, and I just wish him the best of luck in developing the universe and having a good battle with Marvel, because right now Marvel is falling off, and I see like projects like these is really gonna help them both out. I know like we have a lot of like superhero fatigue because there's a lot of movies, but like it's money, and as long as they produce it well, with everything, with the real actors, with stuff like that, with the good pacing, and not just like make a movie just like because you want to, because of corporate, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I look forward to what if James. I know that there's gonna be a new director for Supergirl, 2026. I know, sorry, spoilers, but I mean it's already been announced. Like,
yeah, it's already been announced, but like the head of that universe is James Gunn.
Okay. Yeah. I look forward to it. It looks like it's really these characters have personalities. They're not one dimensional. Like they have precedence with each other, and there's precedence outside of that universe that average fans can go and just pick up a book and understand more about these characters if they really wanted to. Like, for example, Mr. Terrific, bro, like, I've never really paid attention to him. I always knew that he was kind of like a cyborg superhero, not cyborg, right? But technological one. But I really appreciated him in this film. Like, I really thought he was such a badass dude. Like, he's just smart, he's efficient, He doesn't have the patience for like stupidity. Like, he knows like what I have to do, what's right, what's wrong, and this is what I'm gonna do to help save the world, help save Superman.
I think that what this movie brought, it gave like a lot to like women's rights. That like that it's not like the typical oh save me, Superman, and like I'm gonna wait for you. No, actually like the actor who did Lois Lane like actually did some work to help him out.
What's her name? It's Rachel Brosnahan. Yeah. Like Lois Lane was a very intelligent woman. Working at the Daily Planet standing on point, being like Superman. People want to question you. Like, if we're gonna question you, like, you know, I'm not gonna back down from these questions, and you shouldn't expect anybody else to back down from these questions. She's a good match for Superman in the sense that she wasn't afraid to express her opinions toward him, and even if they did get into a disagreement, they still found ways to resolve their issues, you know, in a healthy manner. You know, we can compare Lois Lane's and Superman's relationship between Lex Luthor and Eve's relationship. Like, you can study so much of gender politics in this film. Like I'm saying, like the relationships, you know, because you have Lex Luthor, who from the moment that Eve, which is interesting that she's named Eve because she's kind of like, you know, spoilers, right? I don't want to say anything, but like, you just have to watch it. Just the fact that, you know, Eve is this like superficial girl, you know, she's introduced, Metropolis is under fire, right? And she's over here just taking selfies, like, look at me, and I'm like, how superficial is that, right? But then, you know, as you go on into the movie, you recognize that she has her reasons for doing what she did, because at the end of the day, she's dating a supervillain. You know, what's gonna happen when Lex Luthor gets tired of her, or, you know, she does something to, you know.
And also, he's also not just a villain, he's a millionaire.
Yeah, he's rich, you know? Mm-hmm. So there's commentary about how the rich manipulate, you know, global politics at large. But yeah, she seems superficial, but she's low-key smart. But she's smart because she has to, like, protect herself from this abusive relationship she found herself in. Whereas, you know, Lois Lane is smart, but she doesn't have to protect herself from Superman. Like, because she can actually, like, sit down and have discussions with Superman, question him. And even if Superman does get heated, you know, these are characteristics that men have. Superman doesn't go out of his way to, like, berate or put down Lois Lane, you know. They just, like, you know what? I can't have this conversation right now. I need to go. And then, you know, they have a little drama, like, I don't know if this is gonna work out, Superman. He's like, what do you mean by that? And she was like, I don't know if I can handle a relationship. And he was like, alright, bye, you know. But even through all that, the crises that Superman, you know, comes under in this film, Lois Lane still goes out of her way to help him, to save him, you know. Which is, like, it's commentary on what, like, men and women are looking for in relationships these days, you know? Because, like, there's a masculinity crisis, right? Even if it is designed by a red pill community with so much money, you know, at the end of the day, the type of male role model that Superman is portraying is someone who can be emotionally intelligent. Someone who understands how they feel and have principles on trying to save, you know, just trying to save everybody. Even like the supervillains, you know? He doesn't want to, you know, kill them. He doesn't want to kill, but if it comes down to it, you know, Superman's gonna stand on guard. Like, compared to Lex Luthor, you know, who's all like, oh, I'm scared, Superman is an illegal alien and he's gonna hurt us. But he's still, like, pumping, you know, millions and millions of dollars into, you know, private prisons to fucking hide, political agitators of, you know, whoever wants to have someone, you know, silenced because they're speaking too much on things that, you know, that affect the bottom line of the company's profit margins, you know. So there's just an interesting juxtaposition in the masculine identities that these two figures portray. You can compare, like, Lex Luthor to the red pill community, you know, because, like, these are men that think that I gotta stand on guard and I gotta make myself feel superior to everybody else and belittle everybody else, and I'm so smart and I know what to do and I got this, like, don't question me, to the point where you're willing to destroy the world because of your insecurities, compared to, you know, Superman, who, you know, there's a giant monster, but he's gonna go out of his way to save a squirrel from being squashed.
Superman is a symbol that, like, in these difficult times, it's a symbol that we need someone who would give peace and hope to the people in the world, and like unite them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll follow the example of the politicians and the rich people.
Mm-hmm. We have other characters like another example of masculinity, I suppose, is Jimmy Olsen. He's young, bright kid. At the Daily Bugle, a smart guy.
Daily Planet.
Daily Planet. My bad. I'm sorry. This is not Spider-Man. I know I'm repping this shirt, but I just want to say I'm not an expert in these fields of Superman study, but I am an average person after all. What do they say in Dan Da Dan? What does Okarun say? I am an awkward fellow after all. Yeah. I'm just playing, but
yeah, it's a good movie. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Rotten Tomato score yet, but the last time I saw it, it was like at 89% in audience score, and I think this weekend's gonna be much more higher, which is good for a Superman film.
Yeah, this movie was really amazing in delivering a story, and it was really on the nose with its commentary.
I'm gonna look at the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, it's 82%.
Oh, 82%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna stay there in the 80s, 90s. So
yeah,
it's good to start off for the James Gunn universe.
I normally don't like to revisit superhero movies, because like my problem with like Marvel, like I love Thor Ragnarok, but when I sat down to watch it again, like everything missed. Like I already laughed at it the first time. I knew what was gonna happen, so none of it was surprising. So it was just boring to me, right? But I feel like I can go back and watch Superman2025 again because it was just that amazing. Like there's just so much that can be studied from this film, especially in these times, these uncertain times, where American values are being stripped away from the average man because the rich just don't have enough. I really loved Crypto. Crypto was amazing. That little shit dude.
Which this is why I had a problem with this movie when it came to like over exaggeration of characters, because like there's no problem including Crypto, but like Crypto should come later.
I don't know. See, like I know you have a problem with the introduction of so many characters, right?
Yeah.
But it's like this is an already established universe. There's all these stories. We don't have to go through the motions of reintroducing this like story. Like the way this movie started out, it started with like 300 years ago, Krypton exploded. 30 years ago, Superman crash landed
to Earth.
On Earth. 3 years ago, Superman started his career as Superman. 3 days ago, Superman lost his first battle. Which is I thought it's already established everything. Like you don't. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I am like the average person when it comes to these things. But like, if you already have your foot in the water, like you already know these things. You already know Crypto. We had the Crypto cartoon that came out like in the early 2000s, and then we had the Super Pets movie that came out not too long ago. So it's like Crypto is already an established character that people know. It's just cool that he's not talking. Like I'm just looking at Crypto. Like my only problem with him is that he's just so you know, he's just an untrained dog that wants to play, that wants to jump all over you and bite you. Like, he doesn't know any better, you know. He's just stuck in his ways, and I'm just like, I know dogs like that, you know. Like, I have a friend like whose dog, like, the moment I come to visit, they're already ready to jump all over me, but they're like such a big dog with claws, you know, it hurts, and I'm like, stop, bro, like, stop jumping on me. I love you, but, you know, chill. Like, I'm like irked by that. But then as the movie goes on, like, you know, I really come to appreciate Crypto more and more, as I come to appreciate other dogs who do their job to stand on guard and support the family, you know. That's just what Crypto did.
If you're too sensitive towards dogs, and if you don't like animals like being hit or like being abused, then I wouldn't recommend this movie for you, because
there is animal cruelty. It's not real animal cruelty, but, you know, if you can't handle it, if you feel like you're gonna go John Wick because you see your dog being abused, you know, imagine how Superman felt, you know. There's that clip that had been going around that was like, I was like, Crypto's gonna be in this movie, bro? Like, you know, the moment when Superman comes into Lex's office and he's like, where's the dog? You know? And then he's just like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and like,
I'm gonna cut that out, you know. You have to go and watch the movie. I'm gonna cut that out just because, you know. Like, that's like, you know, like, I'm gonna say, I'll talk about it, I'll cut this out, but, like, the fact that, fuck you and your corporation, Lex Luthor.
If it gave you a lot of emotions, it means that he really did a good work in his imagination of Lex Luthor. This has to be, like, also my favorite versions of Lex Luthor.
Talking to my brother on the phone after we split, he was just talking about how a lot of previous versions of Lex Luthor, they're comical, they're like jokey, like he's not really like a serious antagonist, but this one just really portrayed how dark of a character Lex Luthor really is. A megalomaniac, rich guy with infinite financial backing and infinite resources to do whatever he wants. Like, there's just too much. Private corporations go in and destabilize our communities for their profit, and then end up leaving the people worse than from when it came. You know, like the introduction of the engineer, right? Like, I thought it was super cool. You know, just the fact that, like, she's, like, you know, she's played by a Mexican actor.
Venezuelan.
Venezuelan. You know, she's Hispanic, Latina actor. And it really irked me that, because, you know, she's, like, the supervillain. You know, she's going against Superman. She's been bought out by Lex Luthor, you know? And it really made me think about, like, members of the community who also sold out and are willing to, you know, go around and attack, like, their own community out of self-hatred. They just selling out to the corporate because they get that bottom line. Even if they're gonna, you know, rip families apart or, you know, cause global chaos, as long as they get paid. You know, there's so many instances of people of color who are sold out to Lex Luthor. I don't know, that really irked me. Representation in films, and it's like, it's true, you know, like, there, you know, like, I've had this conversation with friends, you know, like, most science jobs won't really pay unless you're willing to compromise and throw people under the bus to make the corporation bottom line. Like, you're not really gonna make money in any field that you really pursue, you know. Capitalism is really cutthroat like that, and just this movie just really shows the dark consequences that unchecked financial backings have. The military-industrial complex, the prison complex, you know, the fucking social media psyops, bro. Like,
which the prison could be the pocket.
Yeah, the pocket dimension. Yeah, that's the, you know, just the fact that like political dissidents, you know, like I was saying earlier, even if Eve, Lex Luthor's girlfriend, wanted to leave him, she really couldn't safely, because
she was afraid.
Yeah, she was afraid because of his power. He could just be like, just make her disappear, because he's like, oh, you don't want to be with me? Oh, you have negative comments about me? Well, fuck you. go to prison.
I'm gonna throw you in the dimension.
Yeah, you know, which also highlights like the differences in, you know, masculinity between Superman and Lex Luthor. You know, like Lex Luthor is an insecure megalomaniac, while Superman worries about the world. He still stands on business. He's not gonna let anybody left behind. You know, even when others are like look at him and judge him as in like, you know, bro, how can you not kill this giant monster? You know, that's terrorizing Metropolis. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, you know.
And also it shows that like he cannot also do it on himself, and it's okay to also ask for help.
Yeah, the fact that Superman, you know, has to ask for help. The fact that this man who is godly, right, still has to rely on others for help, and he's not afraid to ask for help. Superman is a healthy example of what men should strive to be in this day and age, instead of someone who wants to, you know, have a trophy wife and hold her down because, you know, he's insecure. Like,
and the man is strong, and the woman needs to always submit to the man.
But you know, you have Lois Lane who's not submitting to Superman, more so in the fact that she recognizes that he's in trouble and goes out of the way to save him, even though like she's putting her life on the line. Like, even though she is like powerless because she doesn't have superpowers, she still does what she can, you know. And at the end of the day, it's Lois Lane who clears Superman's name from everything, you know, because journalism matters, because educating the masses matters, you know, thanks to the Daily Planet. We touched on examples of masculinity and problems of the unchecked powers of private corporate interests. Was there anything else that you would like to add?
It's just that like what I wanted to add is that like Superman is a great representation of what a immigrant living in the U.S. is, and having to live towards discrimination towards the eyes of the powered people. But like people that are gonna be like racist toward you is gonna be the ones that are manipulated towards people that are either brainwashed by the politicians or people of the higher class. And I really loved it how one of the biggest superheroes is also an immigrant, and he's one of the most loved superheroes in the world and in the history of comic books.
Besides Luffy, of course.
Yeah.
Do you have any commentary about the dialogue that Superman2025 has to offer? Did you like the film? Did you dislike it? Let us know your opinions in the comment section below. And if you're asleep and don't want to wake up to how, you know, private interests are destroying or make you want to believe that illegal immigrants are destroying the country, even though private interests drop bombs on babies, you know, on the daily, you know, let us know that you're still asleep. I am SK Miggs.
I'm Ricky the Uchiha.
And we are Infinite Crossover, signing out.
Thank you, bye. Bam,